Yo, what's up guys? Jay here. Today back with two Phatmotos. As a matter of fact, I have three Phatmotos. Now I was trying to fit different engines. As a matter of fact, for this Phatmoto, I bought a Honda engine. It is called the GX120. And after the measurements and everything, I figured that it does fit the frame. However, this motor came mainly designed for compressors, so the shaft doesn't have the little key, and so I can't fit a clutch on it. I was very disappointed because I got this engine brand new, super cheap. It even has the tags right there. I only got it for $100, guys, and I can't use it because the shaft is not compatible to be used with clutches. And yeah, that was a big downer. So I got another engine from Go Power Sports right now here in this video. We're going to be comparing two engines. Now there's also a 212 Predator and a 200 Honda and so many other motors that you can compare this to. But in my humble opinion, guys, and after building so many motorized bikes, I don't recommend adding anything above 160 cc's. This is also known as the Coleman CT100. This is basically a clone engine of that. This one has a lot of power, guys. It has currently a 19mm carb. I got this whole kit that comes with the valve cover breather. You get the intake, you get the carb, and this filter, all for about $63. But this is a 19mm carb, so I ordered the PZ22. And that's going to wake up this engine way more because this intake is in fact a 22, so this carb is restricting the air, and we're going to be changing that later on. But for today, we're going to leave it as it is. In the other hand, here we have a Predator 79cc, and the good thing about these two motors is that I removed the governor. This is a go-kart muffler. I was able to bend it inwards so that you know, I can make it work with motorized bikes. I added some heat wrap so that it didn't burn my leg, and I also use the covers partially that came with the bikes. I had to cut them off because of the pipe. I can't fit the whole thing, but it is okay because the muffler doesn't let me touch the jack shaft, and this doesn't let me touch the clutch, so it is more than safe. So they're both running on same sprockets, except that this is a fat tire, this is not a fat tire. The 2024 models for the frames, they come with the 24 I'm sorry, not 24, these are the 10 gauge, excuse me, 10 gauge spoke rims, and they are solid, guys. These can take a lot of beating, and so I'm running on octane 89 gas. I added oil, I did all that good stuff. Also, in order to get the clearance here for these motors, I had to add a spacer. So in this case, I added some big, about 1 inch of height here of these nuts. These are for motorcycles, and I happen to have 4, so I added those on here. I had to drill here a new hole by the middle of this mount, as you guys can tell, and I made the hole a little bit bigger so that there was play back and forth for the chain adjustment, and it is working great. As you can tell, I added a washer on there as well, and it is so far not even vibrating, guys. These engines are super smooth. That's what I like about it, hardly any vibrations. Once again, I did the same thing here, but on this side I added car lug nuts, as you can tell, and the size doesn't matter as long as you have it could be a little bit over 1 inch, that's okay, so that you can clear the valve cover right here. As you can see, I cleared this one maybe about 1 inch approximately, and otherwise it won't fit. Everything else, it's okay. After you get the chain on the jack shaft, everything else works as if it was factory made, guys. I check all the bolts, everything is good to go. Now when it comes to the riding quality, my preferred bike in this scenario was the 90 ACC, and I think it's because of obvious reasons, guys. Even though I don't have the 22mm carb, the PC22, This thing, the torque is amazing. It doesn't feel sluggish. It does give you a top end speed of about, I think it's between 32 and 38, but keep in mind that you are running on a 50-tooth sprocket. So if I reduce that, I might get a little less acceleration, but I will get better top end speed. I would say passing the 40s easily, guys, okay? These engines are not broken in yet, so once they break in, I might even be able to go a little bit faster, but that's with the 90 ACC. In the other hand here, the Phatmoto All-Terrain, the one that I have the 79 cc's on, this one vibrates a lot less, which is great on acceleration, and it could be maybe because of the way I mounted the motor. It does have great acceleration. It has better top speed, but keep in mind that when you are comparing this to the stock motor, well, there's a lot of things going on. I upgraded the carb, I have better intake. This is a Mikuni VM22 that I had laying around, and so I tuned it. It breathes a lot better, and this thing has a lot of power, guys. I would say a little bit more power than the stock engine that comes from Phatmoto. But again, they're both great engines. I'm pretty sure that if I modded the stock motor as well as I did with this one, they will probably be very, very similar. But yes, this is the Harbor Freight Predator 79cc motor, and this thing has a metal camshaft as well. I was surprised to see that. On the other hand, this 90 ACC Coleman clone has a plastic cam on the inside, but I've seen mods to where now they're making performance cams that are made out of metal. I plan to do that upgrade later with this bike, guys. But I think this green one came out to be amazing in the sense of how the motor looks on it and how the bike looks. It's very, very stylish. Same with this one, but I still prefer the other one. I think, I don't know, maybe it's the wheels or the color. I don't know. I feel like this one looks a lot more aggressive, and I know this one here will look even better in the sense that once I get the motor on and everything is hooked up, this black Phatmoto is going to look super cool. Also, keep in mind that on the non-white tire ones, I have the headlights. On the fat tire one here, I don't have the headlight, but I do have the front rack instead for cargo. So this is more like a daylight time driven type of bike for cargo, for things that errands, things you have to run around, you know, and do. Then this is the bike for that purpose, guys. Everything else is pretty much stock. I just checked every bolt. You know, I just made sure the chains were aligned and that the bolts were nice and tight. I did change here the twist throttle to the thumb throttle. It is just a personal preference. I feel like I get less fatigue in my hands when I'm riding, and that's the reason why I have these thumb throttles on both bikes, as you can tell. Now the Phatmoto, the black one, still has the factory one. Let me show you. This is new for the 2024. It is in metal made, as you can tell, throttle. But this one here, after a while, I get a little bit of fatigue on my hands. Again, that could be me. A lot of people might be okay with that. But yes, guys, I think these bikes came out to be great. Not to mention that we have hydraulic brakes. So these brakes are able to handle the power on these two motors. But yes, if you're looking to upgrade to something that you can mod a little bit more but don't need that extra power, and well, you simply want to save a little bit of money, then you can go with a 79cc motor. It is a great motor once ungoverned, and you get that high flow pipe. Yes, it's going to be a very good motor. But then on the other hand, if you're looking for power and speed, which is what most of us are looking for, the 90 ACC, it's an amazing engine that requires no modifications to the frame. You just have to lift it a little bit and you are all set, guys. So with that being said, let me know what you think about these two engines. Again, we already tested them. They work great. They give about the same range in terms of miles per gallon, about the same range as the stock motor, maybe a little bit more it's understandable. We are running a bigger carb, and there's more air flowing here. So, but yes, overall, I didn't see much of a difference between the stock motor and these motors. So yes, if I had to pick one, I would go with the 90 ACC. Right now, Go Power Sports has them for $79 plus shipping. It comes to about $101. This one at Harbor Freight, I think it's about $120. I think $129, something like that. So in terms of pricing, they are very similar. Even physically, they are very similar. But this is a true 79, and this is a true 3.5 horsepower 90 ACC motor, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, comment, and share. Click on the bell icon so that you don't miss future videos like this. And I'll see you guys on my next one.